And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Chacín, and here we are with another episode of the Combat Club, along with my co-host Zion Zenith. Welcome, and of course, this is the episode number 10. Can you imagine 10 episodes of this Combat Club right now? Because, man, what can I tell about this? Because right now, every week, we gotta digest, and of course, we're gonna review all these latest interviews, the latest events, news, breaking news. Also, we got interviews on the street, who's gonna win, also our predictions, because this is about the Combat Club. We gotta digest everything about for the events, for the UFC, WWE, all the world, for the mixed martial arts and wrestling. Because right now, this weekend is gonna be so explosive that the globe blow your mind. Because not only it's just first and foremost, because we just got the backlash going on from France, but also we're gonna head it to Rio de Janeiro, which is UFC 301. Because right now, this sports weekend between the boxing, MMA, and wrestling, they're about to get international. So right now, I'm gonna get it to my head right now. So it's gonna be so exciting. So right now, let's give it a welcome to my co-host Zion Zenith. So how you feel about it? Because this is the episode number 10 of the Combat Club. So how you feeling right now? Because are you ready for this amazing combat sports and prop for the weekend?
Ahead of us, we have Backlash, and then we also do have 301, a big Brazil card. Yes, and happy Thursday to all of you guys. Daniel's in the house as well. Unfortunately, Daniel's Lakers and my Miami Heat didn't make it that far in the NBA tournament. But that's okay. There's other years that we're gonna have a shot at it, but there is a lot of stuff to get into the world of combat sports. So we'll leave that NBA talk for premium takes tomorrow. But I'm excited to be here with you, Raphael. Like Chorus, we made it 10 episodes. I'm super excited to be here and talking combat sports. So let's get it.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so our first topic is gonna be blow up your mind, because right now we're just getting headed to Rio de Janeiro because we just got two amazing fights. So ladies and gentlemen, here it is for the pulse of the UFC 301, which is on Saturday on Rio de Janeiro. So I just wanted to say boa noite a todos, because that means good night everyone in the language of Portuguese. So we just got two amazing fights. Alessandro Pantoja versus Steve Ercich, and Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. So I gotta tell you for this one, folks, because after we just saw for UFC 299, UFC 300, and of course 301, I mean, they're just gonna be like a series of bangers right now. I mean, they're possibly gonna define it right now. I mean, this is gonna be so interesting to watch two amazing fighters. And I gotta tell you this one, because before I was setting on the live stream, I mean, Brazil got the biggest names of the Brazilian mixed martial arts. But I gotta tell you for this one, because they just brought like a brand new generation, and those fights are gonna be so really exciting. And it's not gonna be wild, it's not gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be like so freaking well. And I gotta tell you for this one, this is gonna be so interesting right now. So right now for this one, because right now we're gonna see for first and foremost for the main card between Paul Craig versus Caio Bolario, which just means it's gonna be like a fun one. I mean, Craig is going out for a knockout loss against Johnny Walker. We all know about that, because it won't be in too much of a surprise that Craig is like an underdog for that fight. I mean, Craig is a little trick pony, but he understands very good acting on the guard. But everyone seems like the little bit standard, being like a live fighter. Like Bolario is not that great, but Raju is gonna be a fascinating prospect. It's gonna make way through for the ranked fighters in that division. I mean, it's gonna be like one of the well-run fighters gonna see making a debut in the last few years. Really good kickboxing, which he doesn't waste any punches or bowling, because everything's very short, quick combinations, single shots. I mean, what can we expect about it? I mean, this is going to be so great to see how good it's going to be sneaky submissions on the ground. But what I think about for Caio is going to keep fight standing. We got to use this forward speed to overwhelm Craig with the less straight. I mean, this is gonna be so great, but it's certainly one of the few rising stars we could keep an eye because we had to see where the ceiling is. It's gonna be very excited, but so far it's come between flawless. If it got to the victory, here's where to the points, even a technical knockout, even that's gonna be so sweet. But I will give my prediction Caio Borrario as known as the knockout at the round 3. So right now I'm gonna let my co-host Science saying about for Paul Craig versus Caio Borrario.
Yeah, I mean, like I love this Brazil chord at first glance. It didn't really look like a strong chord coming off of amazing 300. But then the more it sat on me, I just love the opportunity that stories could be made here on this chord. What I mean by that is, we have a veteran in Paul Craig that is basically proven to, not do so well against the cream of the crop in his division. Now he has a chance to kind of play gatekeeper against an up and comer that just been on a tear. That's just been a killer ever since he, debuted on the Contender Series twice, and then he went on to have an amazing streak. Now what is in the UFC. This guy Kyle, is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
He's on a
Caio
five.
Borrario. Yes.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you, Raf. He's on a 5-0 win streak. He's shown his ability to be able to grapple, to take people down, to submit people, but also his ability to be out there striking and in his stand up. I have to be totally honest with you guys. This is an up and comer that I am not too familiar on. There is so much contenders coming up this day and age that it's super hard for myself to follow all of them. But now you have a Brazil court where he can open up the fight night. He never lost. He never lost. I think the last time this guy lost was like his first or his second fight, and it was like in 2015. So he's literally on a 9-year career that he's just forever improving and getting better in each fight. This is a guy that's not out there, rushing his progress. He's out there taking his time and he's passing. He's checking all the check boxes and he's passing every step that they put every opponent and he's checking the check boxes and passing every step. So now he has an opportunity to go against a top 15 opponent that basically hovered around that top 15. I don't know if Paul Craig is still ranked. I think he's like 23rd in the world. Kyle might be defending his spot here, but at the end of the day, he's going against a guy like Paul Craig that is a proven commodity, that is a name that Kyle can get under his belt. I'm gonna have to say this one does not go to decision. Also, I'm gonna say Kyle also by TKO stoppage.
All right. So, and there is a like of the fun fact because Bolario he trains
Mhm.
with Demian Maya. I mean, he has the right experience to deal with some dangerous positions to get other positions to get other fighters to get stuck in. I mean, with crazy sneaky submissions, I mean, will likely is gonna keep it the fight standing, but he will end like with a few uppercuts, throw a second around the punches for the left straight. I mean, that was very powerful because if he's forced like an edge change, I don't think that he has the power advantage. But I don't think that Credit is gonna be able to use like the various transformation skills get there because how light Boralo is on the foot, he literally floats on the octagon because he was ridiculously good at maintaining the distance because there's no doubt that he was prepared and up to take down the defense for this camp. I mean, that should be like really good enough. But I will say that
What Paul Craig does bring is he does bring that puncher's chance, but you can easily see with this matchup that the UFC brass is hoping that Cairo can get over Paul Craig and they can start promoting him to the rest, shall I say? Because obviously he's probably a huge big star in Brazil, and he's probably a star among really diehard hardcores. But hopefully this is a fight where he can get rid of Paul Craig fast and on to the next. No disrespect against Paul Craig, but this sport is for the cream of the crop, and I'm just hoping that he can get through Paul Craig and on the better things. I'm sorry to interrupt you. What's up, Mac? What's up, TTC? Thank you guys so
all
much
right.
for joining us tonight.
Yeah, have a good one. And of course, I will just see because I know for the comments right now, even though that I just met like what are those one of those persons right here because he just like everything about it. So I just wanted to let you know that my respect for you, Abram. I know you're watching on the show, but I know that you're a 49ers fan, but this is like the MMA combat club. So there it is. And of course, I've been seeing Mac the Giants fan. Salute to everybody. So I've
Absolutely.
been seeing like a lot of love and of course for respect, but also there's like a lot of haters right now. But who can stop us? So there's nobody. So let's move on for the next fight right here for the main card. I mean, Michael
Is
Pereira.
that I know this is a combat show, but that must be like the battle for California. And you
Yeah.
guys are probably homies, but like all I know is AFC, NFC. That's more. I'm looking at the San Francisco. It's like, man, they're the top of the NFC. It's gonna be hard for anyone to get past them, but we'll see
Yeah,
what happens.
no.
But back
Yeah,
to
let's get
combat.
rid of
Let's
it.
get it.
All right, so let's just come back. I
Apologies,
mean,
apologies.
between
That's
that
for sure.
fight
Let's
of
get it.
between for the fight Mitchell Pereira versus
Oh, I'm excited
Igor
for this one.
Gutierrez.
I'm excited for this one.
This is gonna be really exciting because I'm in two. Because this is gonna be like a short wait up, only because I'm feeling like I'm repeating myself when it comes to Pereira. He become like one of the most dangerous fighters on that division. Because you know why? Number one, he utilized a high pace as excellent cardio to maintain the high pace of the nation. And he's been like a nightmare for a lot of fighters.
Oh yes.
Number two, his kitzing was really boxing. He's really good at all, but he controlled like a hip well at times with his sitting down for the punches that let loose like a clean combination about jabs, combinations. I mean, it's incredible how damaged it's gonna be dealt for the short time. Another thing that's going really well is probably sounding like a broken record, but he attacks the body over and over and over. But that's an attack for the boy, destroy the cardio, then against tank the opponent. But Poteria is certainly like a strange one because I feel like because they hate him over this knockout win and dance over Shungura. And rightfully it's gonna be like a little weird, but Poteria is just like a dangerous opponent with a high rate of finish and fantastic highlights over his career. But his quality opponents prior to UFC has become scrutinized over and over and over, but it's really clear that it came like a can crusher. He can steal like a can crusher to his hand exactly who won against Warfley at the modern roster, because that be close like this weekend, because I know there's a lot of the speed advantage on that fight, but I don't think that the fights go to the distance because both are prolific finishers. It's gonna be like a wild fight. And I think the Pereira is gonna be one that one because he has a lot of experience. He did fought for the heavy hiding figures before, because I think the first one is gonna be so really dangerous for him. So I'm gonna think that the advantage, Michel Pereira be a knockout at the round number 2. So I will let the co-host Zion send in the ball for this amazing fight between Michel Pereira versus Ilo Portiera.
Yeah, I'm looking at these first fights to open up the main card, like at least the first
Mhm.
three, and it looks like the UFC brass is just feeding these fighters to these Brazil fighters, being that the UFC is in Brazil. That's me. I'm not saying it's one sided, but that's what I'm really saying. It's one sided. Like, yes, you have fighters' chances. Yes, you have punching chances, but at the end of the day, Michael should get through this guy easily. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but what I will say is this guy is literally on a streak. He's 6-0 in his last six. In his last two, it's by submission and by stoppage. So if you really think about it, this guy in any other division, um, outside of maybe lightweight, would be competing for a championship. But being that he's fighting at middleweight, the three middle divisions like middleweight, welterweight, and lightweight. It's like you have to fight like 10 fights in a row in order to get a championship. But being that he's again, gonna have to go prove himself against an up and comer that really, in my honesty, ain't the same level as him, it should be a stoppage. I wouldn't be surprised if he submits him in round two. So I'm gonna say stoppage somewhere. I don't see this fight going to decision. The only way it goes to decision if Michael gets lazy and he starts. I know I'm slaughtering his name. I'm saying Michael, but it's really Michelle. But Michael should. I'm just gonna call him Michael. I'm gonna keep on calling him Michael. Pereira should basically that's it. That sounds so much better. Pereira should basically get this win easily. The only reason why I don't see him getting the win if he gets lazy, he lets his foot off the gas. He puts himself in a danger which we had seen in the past. And he kind of just goes in there takes himself out of the game plan. The game plan should be real easy for him. I mean, like literally go in there, take this guy down, and work on your ground game and submit him. I mean, like I'm not saying that Peralta doesn't have good ground defense. I'm just saying that, and Pereira can strike too. I'm just saying that everywhere it goes, it should, you know, it should be Pereira's game. Like I get it, Peralta does have, I believe, eight or seven submissions of subs in the past, but I don't see it against top tier competition, and I'm gonna take Brazil here. Brazil here, early stoppage. Not early stoppage. I would say stoppage 1-2.
But I think it's gonna be this one. It's gonna be really dangerous because if he get away from the dangerous angle and he did for the body with a strong right, I see a right hook to the body being like a prime attack early on. I mean, one major aspect of this fight is that way the Potera when he made to the fall brighter a few months ago. He moved down to 184 to 205. And I think now is the adjustment for the weight cut. But I think Potera is very dangerous on the dog because he has a lot of defensive issues. Sure, but his defensive they're gonna put ridiculously good and sleek. That's not what to say they're going to struggle period. But I do think that the period is gonna be the most dangerous and potentially when it comes to Pereira versus Potera. I mean, this is gonna be like ending up getting her real bad, but this is like getting more action on it. I mean, what can I tell you about it, this folks? And before we had to move on for the next fight right here, I just wanted to let you know that Science Zenith, right now you are for 500 subscribers. So congratulations to Science Zenith.
I didn't realize that, man. Not even looking at my own sub count. Thank you. Thank you guys all. Thank you all for letting me know that. That's love, fam. But thank you guys all for loyal subscribers who subscribed. Man, I've been so busy this past week. I haven't been even looking at that, but I really appreciate it, guys. And I will say this before you move on to Rafael, thank you so much for that. And I will say, how do you say his fucking name? His fucking MMA name. I'm just gonna call him IP. Potera. Like I would say Potera.
I mean, it sounds like because it rhymes with potty, which is those things that about it. But yeah, it's kind of like very weird because I know there's like European names that maybe don't pronounce, but let's just say like a potato. So there you go.
You know who's really good at John Anik, he gets it down, man. He gets it down. He practices. But yeah, I would say he does. I could see him hurting. Pereira here. Like you said, like he could easily rock him in the body. Like Pereira has been hurt in the past, but that's what I'm saying. Don't put yourself. Like I get it. All fights start standing up, but this is an octagon. Utilize the cage. Get this guy to the ground and hopefully utilize your submissions and hopefully you can stop this guy on the ground. And I'm not trying to take anything away from homie, but I just don't see I don't see the level of competition that he and I don't know who might have says MMA is fucking weird.
Yeah, that's really weird. And of course, I just wanted to tell you that I'm almost there for 1K subscribers, and right now I have 900 subscribers, so thank you a lot. And of course, you're gonna watch the content right now, so hit the like button, ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe to Deuce.
Absolutely
everything. Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta tell you, for the next fight is gonna be so really exciting. Right now we just got Anthony Smith versus Vito Pedrino. I mean, this is gonna be like a heartbreaker because if you're a fan of Anthony Smith, it's gonna be like an insane upset. Because Smith is coming up for a knockout loss against Roundtree Jr., despite, I think it's very past his own prime. Because Smith had displayed some thought and heart during this fight, but only showed that much heart when he gets hurt so damn often. Because he had definitely like defensive problems, which is very square stance, sloppy footwork, and very exposed shin. Because he had a large number of openings for the body kicks. And I've been sold for that fight. When it comes to Matt Holloway versus the Korean Zombie, which is at the middle of the August 2023. So I would say that was very upset. But I think Petrino, he coming like at a hot prospect coming out for this fight. He actually earned like a main card spot against Smith, and Petrino has dangerous kickboxing. He's not necessarily fast because he's doing like a together combinations or extend the combinations so doesn't draw on the volume, because Petrina has a lot of power advantage when it comes to this. If they don't have the confidence with the ball to the crowd itself, I mean, that's the dangerous connotation. But they should have a very success that they had the right tools to get them set up and boom, hit it off with a jab in the straight. But I don't think that Smith is going to be like a great fighter anymore, because it's not too old, but I think the damage is very accumulated throughout his career. But he made like a more suspected to get knockouts. So I will tell you for this, Vito Padrino is going to win for a knockout at the round number 3. And I'm going to let my co-host Science in the ball for Anthony Smith, the Lionheart versus Victor Pedrino.
Yeah, sometimes you have MMA fighters that fight into the clear like 30s and go on these long ones. We have fighters like a Glover Chichira that wins the title at the age of 42 or 41. You have fighters like DC that fights and Jim Miller. But the point being that Anthony Smith, your career is just done. I'm not trying to be mean, but like you've been served, the last 10 fights, it didn't really go good for you. You're in a negative. You're not at 500. You've been knocked out multiple times. Maybe you can light a fuse in there. Maybe you can spark something. But now they're feeding you against a young lion that is trying to take your place in the rankings. And I know my co-host Rafael is really high on this Vitor kid, and so am I. I'm saying he comes with great skill, great fight IQ. He has knockout power, and he's not afraid to bring it to the ground or defend against the takedown if he doesn't want to be there. So this guy has all the skills to be a future world champion, and it starts with going against a veteran like Anthony Smith that is washed. I'm sorry, it's a Tony Ferguson effect. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got to go out there like a Donald Cerrone and just lay the gloves down and just, you have good a gig with commentary and with the announcers, and I think you should take that and go wide off with the sunset. You'll always be an amazing fighter. Fighters will always respect you. It takes a lot to even get into the cage over 50 times. You know what I'm saying? But you're not 12-9 in the UFC. So yes, your record is 37-19, and that seems really good. And praise that. You always be respected. But at the end of the day, Vito's gonna retire you, and I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony retires after this fight, like he should. So he's probably gonna get knocked out 2 in a row, and Vito's gonna retire Anthony. He's gonna lay the gloves down. And I'm sorry, I mean, like, he may not like it, but it is what it is. There comes a time before Father Time catches up. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James wish he could stop these young up and comers, but it's not the case no more. Anthony, Kevin Durant, wish he could play like he used to, watching him play in these playoffs, but it's not the same no more. You know what I'm saying? Father Time hits, and that is what it is. And I know what combat show, but the New York Knicks are up 21-9 right now on the 76ers, putting in that work in the first quarter, trying to close the series out. Go right ahead, Rafael.
Yeah, I know, because there's a lot of things that I got to explain to Anthony Smith, but I'm gonna keep it short. I know that Anthony Smith could be like a great fighter, but he puts a lot of heart and he makes like a being knockout right now. But I think that Anthony Smith is gonna pass his pride right now. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not gonna disrespect Anthony Smith, but Anthony Smith, he put a lot of this career, but I think this is gonna be his last dance right now for this UFC career. But I don't think it's gonna be very plain, because he gotta take it like for a line back, because they just wanted to like get involved with this one. But I think he's very fumbled. I had one chance to prove it about this one, but it's nothing very new about it. Because if you say like every fighter that beat me sucks, I had a bad day, but right now I get it, because they need to be like in a more crazy delusional to step out of the cage. But I always thought that Smith is one of the more solution, because every time that he lose, we'll go to the say, yeah, I could have it easily won, just like the Tiny team. But I know, because this is like a sports right now, because even though that you knocked out, you got to stand up, and of course you got to train a lot of hard and to say, hey, I'm gonna be right now, because right now when it comes for the MMA fighter and you've been knocked out for the first time, think about it, because right now you have to train a lot of more. You got to understand the scratch, and of course the understandable for the weakness of the fighter. And then boom, you gotta to inspect the unexpected, and then you just gotta to figure it out right now because there's a lot of players, there's a lot of fighters who became like really soft, but there's like a few of them. He has a great power, great knowledge, and it became the hardest one. So I'm not gonna be like a disrespectful, but if you're soft right now,
It's not disrespecting him. It's just that you gotta come a point in your career where you clearly are not winning. You clearly are not winning against high level competition. And what's the reason why you're not winning? You say you win, and you say when you lose, that you're gonna go out there and you're gonna train hard and you're gonna come back looking better. But guess what? Your whole UFC career, it's been stagnant. Yes, you had a rise to the title, and yes, you didn't make it. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here like a fan and trying to disrespect. What I'm trying to say is it's super hard to get to the top 15, yet alone the top 5. And then once you're at the top 5, it's really hard to capture the title, super hard. But what I'm trying to say is, you got to come a time of day where you got to change what you're doing. Anthony Smith is a fighter that I'm not saying this to just say it, but he gets hit a lot. I'm not just going to say he stands there because he clearly doesn't. He moves around. He tries not to get hit, but his head is easy to find, okay? His head is easy to find. He's never been that kind of fighter to kind of move and kind of sway with punches and kind of get out of the way. He never been that elusive kind of fighter. He's always been that fighter that's going to get in your face. And yeah, he doesn't want to get hit, but his head is easy to find. There'll come a point where you gotta make it harder to find. You gotta change your footwork. You gotta get a better. I'm not even gonna get into his team, but I can compare it, and I people may hate me for this, and I don't care. I'm gonna compare it to Max Holloway. Okay, there's a point in Max Holloway's career where he said, "I can't get hit no more. I cannot get hit no more." So you started to see, and I believe it was right after his his second loss to Volkanovski, because it was towards later on in his career where he basically said, I cannot get hit no more. So what he basically did was he starts to sway with punches and move with Justin Gaethje, right? Instead of just being right there and having Justin Gaethje, the Max Holloway that fought Conor McGregor would just let Justin Gaethje hit him. The new Max is not going to let Justin Gaethje hit him. Obviously, that can be stupid for the last 10 seconds. You just throw that all out of the way. But there comes a point, Anthony Smith, where you need to change your fighting style. He has not once changed his fighting style. Yes, he gotten better. Yes, he improved, but not to the point where you're still getting hit, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Smith is the type of fighter that his best days are in the gym. Anthony Smith is a way better fighter in the gym than he is in the octagon, and I'm not saying that out of disrespect.
Yeah, there you go. That was a lot of facts. So right now, let's just move on for the co-main event. Oh boy, this is gonna be so interesting to watch right now because
yes, sir.
That one is gonna be so interesting that I'm gonna blow your mind because what I'm expecting about this, because this one is gonna be a great choice to get in it. So right now we just got Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. And oh boy, because it's going to be a beautiful leg kick against Giannis and prior to the win against Sai Nurmagomedov. And I already know that win against Nurmagomedov is because simply we just saw Martinez level during that fight. And it was a side because here grappling, he was very improved. So just might have had a lot of control over that submission spellish. And it's more likely to the fight standing off because Martinez is a heavy kicker. Every he throws about for the most of the kicks, it's just like bread and butter. And it times everything perfectly. For Jose Aldo, he's coming back for retirement to take one final fight on that contract, and I believe. And I cannot wait to fight him instead of his hometown, which is Rio de Janeiro. Because I gotta tell you for this. Aldo is an outstanding kickboxer who has very solid Muay Thai base, standing tall, knees, elbows, standard boxing combinations at the range and savage kicks. He used every tool in the arsenal that a striker can use. I mean, I'll be more curious because how Aldo's going to fare and how to utilize these weapons on a 3-pace round fight. And it doesn't seem like it's a bit of a slow, but he most likely to test the chin of Martinez because his fighting, his boxing, is going to be the biggest weapon that they're going to find for the right straight that call raw fun number of times. So I would think it's because I hope Aldo wins because it will nothing more happen than Waldo running into the ground like he did like 10 years ago. But it's not going to be like a clear cut prediction. It's going to be a little bit messy, but let's just sit back and watch this incredible matchup between a veteran versus a rookie. So I'm going to let my co-host talk about for this amazing match and the combat of Jose Aldo on Rio de Janeiro, his hometown.
Yeah, I just wish that Jose Aldo was about 5 years younger when they took this fight. Obviously, Jonathan wasn't in the UFC then, but if he was, he wasn't in a position to fight Aldo. But why I say that is, Aldo is aged and he's shown, against Pedro and against Bob Font that he can compete. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the top five of the division, it's it's really tough. And I know Jonathan is ranked ninth and he's not at the top five yet, but this is a performance that he's gonna go out there and he's gonna beat Aldo. I hate saying it because Aldo was the beast, one of the best featherweights to ever walk, one of the best champions the UFC was to ever have. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely top 10 champions ever of the sport. You know what I'm saying? So if you really think about it, and bantamweight, 135, he looked good. He looked good out there, but then he went against Moab and he lost, and that's when like Jonathan's streaking, man. Jonathan is finally found. He's finally putting everything together. All of his tools are starting to blend, and he's looking to come out there and really take Aldo and move up and get a top five opponent and get a championship shot here soon. I know the top five is Washi. You got Moab, you got a lot of others. You know what I'm saying? I can't even think of them right now, but I know it is kind of busy there at the top. But this is a fight where you don't take it lightly. You know what I'm saying? The crowd will be chanting, "You're gonna die," but you need to go out there and you need to take it. Get rid of Jose Aldo in the first round, and suck saying because I'm a Jose fan. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Jonathan needs to get rid of him in the first round, and obviously it's probably not going to happen. This fight's probably going to go to decision because Aldo's a monster. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna be easy to put out. I know a lot of people are looking at all of his fights he had, and he still has that toughness in him, and he's gonna have that energy of the Brazil and the crowd with him. But Martinez needs to go in there and handle business, and if he does, his UFC career is gonna get a whole lot brighter, and I think he will. I think Jonathan will go in there and handle business.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I really thought it because he was most likely because not only was slowly better for the legs at Aldo, but that kid would also win see Martinez right to the right before because it's gonna be like a 50-50 fight. But I really
Yeah,
have thought
Martinez
for the
is in his prime. I would say too. Like that's why I want to pick him, and I think it's something tells me he's gonna stop Aldo, but it's hard to pick that because Aldo's such a beast. You know what I'm saying? But Martinez is entering his prime, and if he can pull all his tools together, it's gonna be nightmarish. Continue. I'm sorry.
yep. Yeah, that's exactly. But no, don't worry about that because right now it seems that because it's gonna be the most dangerous opponent that Martinez has faced so far. I mean, regardless, it's gonna be the fact that getting off of the AHN was retired because I was very curious how fair to wait to cut back for the 135. We'd assume it's gonna be like a relaxed time for training, but now he's used this at a 3-round fight. But I've been seeing like at a slow starter to like at a 5-round fights. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're just heading off from the main event, which is going to be the flyweight championship bout between Alexandre Pantoja versus Steve Ercich. Brazil versus Australia. It's going to be like a strange fight, but I don't think so. But I got to tell you for this one. And I'm sorry to hear about this because the flyweight division is a mess. And the only thing that it could happen to thinking, it's supposed to like get a tiny bit of sense. I just don't know because for Alexander Pantoja, he's coming out for a string of fantastic wins. One of the most recently against Royal in a grilling 5-round fight. He's capable to striking, but he has very strong punches where it gets a little bit wild, but he most of the ground because he's a phenomenal grappler. We didn't get a gap with that because he will no doubt with how good Ercich the grappling is. As soon Pantoja is getting like at a body triangle, I mean, it's not gonna be like a good news for Zed because that's what they're building out for the setups, and for Edset, it's gonna be an anomaly because he only had 3 fights in UFC. All against royalty, okay fighters, but it seems pretty that's gonna be damn sure it's gonna be the fight goes. I mean, there's a little doubt in my mind. He's very confident that on takedown for the defense and the bonus for the submission, but otherwise it's gonna be why they take it a little shot because this is not the first time in a fight in a 5 rounder. I mean, he took like Paul Loga in 5 round back in 2021, but it certainly didn't go for the 5 rounds. And the preparation was a great experience. But I think they had to guess him for 5 rounds. But considering this is like an alternative bet, he has the right tools and weapons to make it a challenge for Pantoja, especially for the left hook. Be careful because I know that Earth is gonna be ridiculously slow, grappling and wrestling base, but I think Pantoja is gonna be far the top level competition. But I would love to see how the crowd is gonna be with it. So I'm gonna tell you for this, Alexander Pantoja is going for a submission at the round number 3. So I think it's gonna be a lot of disparity to the president now for surrounding, but the left hook is gonna be a retreat. So I'm gonna let my co-host Zion to talk about for Alexander Pantoja versus Steve versus Brazil versus Australia.
Yeah, I can't stand the UFC for this, and I really can't. You know what I'm saying? I've seen Steve fight his last fight, and I'm watching him fight, and I'm clapping for him when he gets that knockout. I'm like, dude, 2-3 more fights away, you're fighting for a championship. You know what I'm saying? And what does the UFC do? They book him for a championship immediately because Alexandra has taken out not in this championship run, people, just over time. Pantoja, he's been fighting veterans his whole damn career. He cleaned out the whole damn division, not even holding the title. This guy cleaned out the whole division. So now he got the title, cleaned out a couple of fights, beat Royale, and they're like, yeah, I don't got anybody to fight. Give me Astro. He's sitting at number 10. Give me Astro Boy. And I don't think that's fair for Steve because honestly, he's I don't know, man. Does he do that Chris Weidman? Does he go in there against all odds, and I'm not saying that Pantoja is damn near Anderson Silva's level, but compared to Steve, it is kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? Steve is an amateur at this damn game. Literally, I want this kid to succeed. This kid can go out there and shock the world, but everything tells me, MMA knowledge tells me that Alexander Pantoja should run through this kid. This shouldn't even be scheduled of a fight. There's reason why, and I don't necessarily agree with rankings because I don't like the way they rank people sometimes. But there's a reason why you work your way up to the championship. You know, we got some people like can't even get championship fights. It's on 10-fight win streaks, and then we get Steve that literally his opponents you can't even Wikipedia. And then he's been in the UFC for 3 fights. And then he gets a championship fight. This guy's going to get served. Now, what do I want to happen? I don't know. For some reason, guys, I have to be honest with you. I don't respect Pantoja. I don't know if it's the division. I don't know what it is. It's horrible. He's my least liked champion outside of what is her face that the old female that I'm trying not to be disrespectful. Who's the bantamweight female championship? Whatever her name is. Raquel Pennington. You know, outside, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but outside of Raquel Pennington, I mean, like, Pantoja and Raquel Pennington is probably my least like champions. And would I like Astro Boy to go out there and handle Pantoja? Absolutely. Will it happen? Probably not. And that being said, dude, you know, man, I'm gonna have to. Something's telling me Pantoja's gonna watch Steve in every way of the game, but you know, I don't know, man. There's something about Steve that just tells me, you know, he hasn't. You can't even Wikipedia his opponents, like I said. You know what I'm saying? If you do the math, like, there's no way that Steve gets it done. But I'm gonna pick Steve in this one because I want Astro Boy to be champion. I think he'll be a good champion, and you know, it's been a while since, you know, the one thing that I like about our champions, I like champions who streak. I want to see streaks. I don't want to see champions who think they're royalty and just want to fucking fight when Spain opens up in 2 years and just sit in like they won the world because they just won a championship. You know what I'm saying? That wants to just call out people that's not even fighting, fighting scheduled other fighters. You know what I'm saying? And not even ranked people. And I can't stand those kind of champions just because it's like, dude, you won one time. You won one time. You just got the fucking championship. Defend it. Back in the days, you used to have to defend your title. I know I'm ranting here, but something tells me that Steve is a champion that can hold the belt for a long time. So I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take Steve because I like champions who can streak, and I want to see. I miss those days where he's Mighty Mouse. He's now defending his championship for the seventh fucking time. You know what I'm saying? I miss those
Yeah.
days. You know what I'm saying? Let you even have like Alex. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Per. He's dominating, but at the end of the day, he wants to move up already. He wants to go to heavyweight. It's like Sean O'Malley wants to fight the fucking fighter that never wants to fight in the division above him. You know what I'm saying? They all want to fight each other already, and it's like stop it, guys. Like just defend, man. That's why, Max Holloway, take that championship away from Ilya and defend. You know what I'm saying? And look at Islam, defend. Islam's not fucking looking to go fight everybody. Islam's defending. You know what I'm saying? So that was a long rant. I apologize for that, but let's get it.
Yep, we're gonna continue, but I think for the main card for the UFC 301, I mean, it's gonna be like really exciting. But I've been telling for several live streams. I mean, Brazil got a lot of talent in Brazilian MMA fighters because I don't know what to tell it about this because it's not about United States, it's not about Australia, it's not about Japan either. Because Brazil got the best of the best talent of mixed martial arts. And there's one man who defined the whole generation of Brazilian mixed martial arts, and that name was Royce Gracie. I mean, he's a freaking legend. And I think that was the blueprint to all the Brazilian talent going out for making a debut in the mixed martial arts, like, for example, the UFC. If you see, like, talent like Anderson Silva, Alice Pereira, they just got Jose Aldo. I mean, there's a lot of great talent because they know they had a great resume on capoeira, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, everything. I mean, they cannot stop the ball for those Brazilian because those Brazilian fighters are unstoppable, are unbeatable. I mean, that's the recipe for the success. All these Brazilian mixed martial arts, and you cannot beat them on the outcome because that will leave you a mark, that will leave you a submission, that will leave you on the knockout. I mean, these guys are really a beast of monsters, and I will tell you this. Prove me wrong about this because right now Brazil got the best of the best, and you can never erase the history of Roy Gracie. Makes like a great generation for all those Brazilian fighters because Roy Gracie, it was like the blueprint. It became like the great generation of all these fighters.
Yeah, you can't, you can't argue with that. Brazil is absolutely one of the founding fathers, would I say, the birthplace of mixed martial arts at the early days. At Royce Gracie coming in and battling all these sumo and boxers and wrestlers and winning the tournament. You know what I'm saying? But not only that, that's why UFC is so special because it's a global sport, and that's why we love watching the Olympics. And yeah, you get to see the best basketball players go against each other in the NBA at times, but at the end of the day, it's really the representative of your country. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it makes the Olympics so fun because it's the support of your country, man, doing it for your country. You know what I'm saying? And even the evolution of yeah, it may have started in Brazil, right? But like now, look at the world, and the world is opening up with new champions winning titles. You know what I'm saying? With as Rafael said, with Anderson Silva carrying Brazil on his back for a long time. Then Canada opens up. You know what I'm saying? And then we have GSP open up Canada. You know what I'm saying? And then Africa opens up. We have champions coming in out of Africa, and then, now look what's going on. Spain is opening up. Mexico's opening up. You know what I'm saying? In the last 10 years, Dakistan and Kyrgyzstan has been opening up. You know what I'm saying? And Russia been putting in work as well. So Japan is starting to, and always been around. And Japan has been another pioneers of the sport. You want to talk about Brazil? We can even talk about Japan and what they been able to put on MMA events when a lot of countries didn't even want to sanction MMA. So that being said, That's why this sport's so special because everybody has like soccer has premier leagues and all the other leagues, but every country has kind of like their own league. You know what I'm saying? And like it's kind of like yeah, cricket and yeah, other world sports, but at the end of the day, like players may come from other countries and play in the NFL, and players may come from other countries and play in the NBA, NHL, and MLB. But at the end of the day, like mixed martial arts, you never I miss the old days where you could actually hang your banners
Yeah.
and hang your flags. You know what I'm saying, and represent your country. And that's what I love. That's what I love about it because no other sport can you get the best kickboxer from one side of the world going against the grappler from the other side of the world. I mean, like you look at boxing, the shit's hugging and fucking boring as fuck. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. And like, MMA is the greatest. MMA is the greatest, man.
Yeah, exactly. Then that's a fact right now. So, right now, before I had to go for the last topic, I just wanted to say because I've been learning about for the Portuguese and Brazil got the best thing that happened, and you can never deny this. So, right now, for the last topic, before we're wrapping up, because right now it is time to opportunity to make it clear for the backlash is gonna be on France. Also, I just wanted to say merci beaucoup. It's gonna be on Saturday, which is on 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is the United States, because the event is gonna be 8 p.m. in France. Which, but I know that some people understand about because after Cody Rhodes they just won the title of WrestleMania, now he had the opportunity to defend this title against AJ Styles, and I'm not gonna disagree about it, but I think that Cody Rhodes road to the WrestleMania to go to the Backlash. I mean, that was very huge, and people that just see for like a brand new era about for the WWE. But I think in Backlash is gonna be a lot of different because right now they gotta face against AJ Styles because it goes like a veteran battle veteran battle because it's gonna end it up because it won't be like the first time with AJ Styles facing the Rhodes family. He had a match against Dusty Rhodes. I mean, as a family member. But I'm gonna tell you for that one. I mean, it's gonna be certainly AJ versus Cody, but also he was technically like in 2016 with Cody and Dustin. Not very sure I got at any point right now, but I think it's gonna be sure for the good fight because if this is gonna be AJ Styles' last run, that will be like a good run. But they have it as some indies at the point, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now. After we just saw for this run for the WrestleMania, right now he has to defend on his title against AJ Styles, which is very athletic right now, very athletic. But I gotta tell you because right now we just see because he was debuted on the WWE back in 2016 with the Royal Rumble, but I think it's like his 8 year run at the WWE is gonna be like not that very similar right now, but I think that on that year is gonna be his last time, just like Michael Jordan. But I'm gonna let that science Sani digest about for the Cody Rhodes defense title and backlash, which is on France this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't really been following WWE weekly, but I've been seeing clips and following that way. But as for watching fully, I need to go back and probably check out more clips to get an understanding on what's going on. I do want to give a shout out to, and I think we're probably gonna see more of this. TKO as a company. Thank you for obviously giving fans the pay per view, but giving us the ability to watch this and then go watch the UFC. So that's a win. You know what I'm saying? I will say this though. I do like AJ Styles. He is one of my favorite fighters, this day and age and this generation of fighters. Um, and I will say, I do like this matchup. I do think that Cody Rhodes is gonna come out victorious, but then again, this is needed for his championship reign. You need a guy like AJ Styles, a veteran that can come in here and that they can put on a match that basically that can bring France on their feet. You know, have the place chanting, "This is awesome." You know what I'm saying? And this is gonna be like if in the terms of 2K WWE, a 5-star match. You have two great veterans of the sport that is just not gonna go out there and do specials over and over again. They're gonna go out there and actually compete, actually put it all on the line. and actually wrestle. One match that I am looking forward to is Jey Uso versus Damian Priest. I think this is a time where I know we just had the bloodline have the championship, but nothing against Damian Priest and the Judgment Day. But just what I've seen and watching WWE casual over the past couple of years, Jey Uso has really developed into his own singles competitor. He has the whole WWE movement behind him. Walking out there, the whole main event time. I think he takes the championship away from Damian Pierce, and I would want that to happen. Does that happen? I don't know. But I would want that to happen because I think it's
Yeah,
time to put a championship title on Jay. I'm gonna give it back over to Raphael and let him talk about
yeah, because right now I think that for my point of view about for this one, I mean, this should be like a really interesting because the last year on Backlash, we just had the opportunity to see the Backlash for the first time in Puerto Rico. But right now, they're just moving it off for France. But I think the strategy to going out for a pay per view, getting down for internationally, because right now they're just owned by TKO. Because right now, they just wanted to try to like not necessarily to copy the blueprint with the UFC, what's happening right now, because they just both like entertainment companies right now, sports entertainment companies. But I really think that because this is like the first time that we just see it for now, and because I know this is gonna be like so incredible to put it up on the map right now. I mean, this is not gonna be like the first time we did to see about it, but man, what can I tell about this? Because they're gonna put on the map some different events that the people they just wanted to see about it. They just wanted to see like great wrestlers, great stories, great match, and I think it's gonna be so interesting to see Cody Rhodes, which is one of the interesting ones. But it feels like the only predictable things because it's not gonna be like a squash or because there's only 5 matches on the card, and none of them is gonna be like a stipulation was gonna be extra long. But I think that Cody Rhodes is gonna be retained at the pinfall, but it's not gonna be like another interruption. But I really think that between Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, both they have amazing career over this time because AJ Styles they just try multiple times to get used to this match. But each time we do the jaws, I think that Cody Rhodes catching on with a lot of style because that leave like an unstoppable force of that guy. But I'm thinking to get him back to getting out for the beating jobbers. I mean, I feel like this is like the perfect moment, and there's no doubt that this match could be like make it or break it. But I think that the WWE Backlash on France, it should be like a great success. But I think over those fights, because right, see, because there's only 5 fights, and one of them is gonna be a lot important because they want to see like defending this championship. Because right now we're about to witness it about for the new era. Because I've been telling for a one time, because forget about the past. Right now, let's just move for the present and let's just live about what's happened in the future. Because that's what the wrestling fans that just wanted. Great matches, great fights, great stories, and of course, great solutions to regard for the future. And of course, we've been seeing like a lot of wrestlers going up for the brand new generation because right now we just see for NXT, we just see for another independent wrestling company. I mean, what can about to tell you? Because right now, if you're seeing like a brand new going to debut on WWE NXT, then when they say, hey, this guy has got a lot of future, but he needs to improve a lot more. So there it is, folks. There it is.
I would say this. I would say this. What's up, Toodle? I didn't even see you. My big ass mic was blocking your comment. I apologize on that, my man. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will say this, man. Um, you know how WWE is all over the place right now, right? They just signed a major contract with Netflix for War to come over at the start of January, and I hopefully that entices them to get them off other platforms because I truly believe that like with them having their pay-per-views on Peacock and then having their shortened contact on Hulu and then having the weekly full content finally be uploaded to Peacock, but like 3 weeks out. the only true way to watch a full WWE is catching it live on linear television. And with linear television dying, I really hope that Netflix does succeed, because I really think I see a future where WWE as a whole has a whole profile on Netflix, where you do see WWE Monday Night War, you do see WWE SmackDown, WWE NXT, and European NXT if that's still around, but also UK, whatever, yeah, UK NXT, and then but also pay-per-views. I think, when Netflix get into sports with Logan fighting Mike Tyson, and that actually now being a sanctioned boxing event, I think that's gonna open up the door when hopefully it works out, because this is what I see. I see about if it works out with WWE, right, and they have success with their pay-per-views, right, I can see a day where, in the near future, and call me crazy, where the UFC actually gets picked up from Netflix, and TKO actually has the whole platform on Netflix, and Netflix. And the reason why I want this to happen, because call me crazy, and I don't think this is something that, like, people will probably think I'm insane for, but, like, I know I do understand how much revenue that pay-per-view makes for the UFC, but when you talk about Netflix, that's a company that can match that. So what I mean by that is, there might come a day where TKO as a platform could have not only WWE, all of their weekly shows, and you know and their pay-per-views, but then come where they have UFC fight nights and the Ultimate Fighter live, and then reach a place where they start bringing on the UFC library, merge with Fight Pass, bring on Prize Library, WEC's library, and then eventually, if the money's good enough, because the UFC is about business, if the money's good enough, buy rights to pay-per-views and just have free pay-per-views on Netflix. Imagine UFC 400 for free on Netflix, not for free because you're paying Netflix monthly, but that's how the UFC will get their money from, because they're gonna be able to hit so much households with Netflix outside of ESPN Plus. Um, I do think they still stay with Disney for the short term, and I do think that WWE Monday Night War is kind of like the pawn, like the test dummy. And I'm not saying that lightly, because WWE Monday Night is like one of the biggest shows of all time in entertainment value. So let them go, and if it works out with them, if Monday Night War works out with Netflix, I can see TKO as a platform start to move over their content, and that would be a win for Netflix. You know what I'm saying? And that would be a win for TKO. But I'll let you go. That was just a random rant that I had. I needed to get out. I want a show to get it out on the Combat Club.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that?
I mean, what I'm feeling about for booming up for Netflix, I mean, that was just like a big business move, because right now it just seemed like, because I'm very tired for to see like all these like pay-per-views going on, because I'm not gonna pay a lot of money to get
Yeah.
involved for like ESPN,
Yeah.
because in that time right now, because I just wanted to watch some of the fights on the internet, because in that time right
Oh, you
now,
didn't even say that out loud, bro. If you didn't snitch on yourself, bro.
yeah.
Well, hell, I'm gonna let you continue, but like, if you look at all the events of sports that outside of pay-per-views, like outside of boxing, it's really like the NFL is big, huge, bigger than the UFC, right? NFL is free on linear television,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I just watch it for everything, because right now, even though that I'm a big combat sports fan, and I know that I just watched like the different pay-per-views, and some point I had to go to the pay and say, oh, no, I'm not gonna pay for like a 5 or 50, $100 for a pay-per-view. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But I just really needed to know, because right now they just need to move and continue about for the technology. For my personal opinion about for WWE moving to Netflix, I mean, that's like a very great idea, because right now they just need to stick to the idea to get it like breaking the mold for the technology. And I really think that moving up for Netflix, and I think it's gonna be like really great, because we don't want it to see like another person and say, oh, I'm gonna waste so much money about that. So imagine this: if they're gonna pay for a Premier League event, so just subscribe and do not more do not pay too much money for a pay-per-view because
Yeah,
I
you know
know the
what? I
pay-per-view.
love that idea. Let me stop you right there. So you have your
Yeah.
Netflix highest plan right now is like the premium plus, right? You get
Uh-huh.
access to 4K TV on for different on unlimited televisions, right? And that's like $20 a month. Okay, have a pay-per-view plan. All right. So now the pay-per-view plan is now $27 a month. And what does that include? All the WWE and all the UFC pay-per-views for the month. Guess what? That might be only one or two because WWE doesn't go every month. And UFC doesn't go every month. So the most you're gonna have in 1 month is
There
two.
you go.
You're gonna have two pay-per-views. So Netflix will be able to recuperate all that money that the
Mm-hmm.
UFC makes off of the pay-per-view buys, they'll get off of that extra price for that subscription. And with 250 million households and only growing, I mean like that's a lot of subscriptions, and then that comes into buys or pay-per-view points for fighters, and that's a whole different category. But I think we're gonna start seeing that soon. Continue though. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's gonna be like really interesting because right now we're about to get involved in the era of technology, and we just see for WWE on the premium live events on Paycom, which is like the greatest idea because right now it seems like they just wanted to watch those events without getting off of the sofa because right now there's like a bars in there because there's just like sport bars because I've been known for because I'm just like watching up because the last time that I just walked through the sport bar, they just got the ESPN and the whole people because he didn't have the opportunity to pay like a more than thousands of dollars on pay per view. So right now, I just wanted to join up for the bar and then enjoy for the pay per view because it's not a problem anymore. Because right now we had to be like very involved about technology, also for the streaming plans, and of course, we're talking about for the next one, premium live event is gonna be like a big, big
And
thing.
it needs to happen because you got to think of it at Dana White. Like you're not hearing this, but if you was here right now, if you was
Yeah,
listening to that, if you was listening to us, you have a watch party at someone's house, right? Someone ordered this fight for $70. Everybody comes over. There's about 15 people watching that fight, right? Guess what, motherfucker? Every last one of those 15 people. Okay, let me be realistic. 13 of those 15 people have Netflix accounts. All right.
there you
So you
go. There's
add
a
that
lot
up.
of
That's the
them.
cost of the pay per view. That's the if you're doing a pay per view package not for $27.99, so now your Netflix membership is not $27.99. It comes with all the access, but now you have access to pay per views, WWE and UFC. So now all that 7 times 13, you just made your watch party money back, right? So the reason why pay per views are so expensive because everybody can gather in one place and watch it, and that's fair. But you're gonna make that money back because like I just said, a lot of those people do have Netflix accounts. Not only that, though,
Exactly.
I was gonna say something else. I totally lost my mind. But yeah, continue because like I think that is the way of the future, and that is the way it's going. Yeah, I got it. You see it with Apple taking on MLB games and soccer games. You know what I'm saying? You see with MLS games. You see with HBO taking on some NBA games without League Pass. All you have to do was subscribe to HBO Max, and you could watch out of market NBA games without League Pass for a little bit there. So you see all
Yeah.
these different you see all these different platforms, right? You have the NFL trying to fucking play like 7 days a week, trying to take over our lives with every single. You're gonna have Friday games eventually. They want to have Wednesday games. Like they want to take over the week. So that being said, like it's about evolution, and I think that is evolution. Is having free pay per views on a streaming service, whether it be Netflix or whether it be another competitor. But I don't think the mouse. Nothing against them. I don't think they'll ever go free. I don't
Yeah.
think the mouse will ever go free pay per views. So it's up to
Yeah.
because they can afford it, but Netflix is the one that can move the stick, and I think Netflix doing the Mike Tyson and the Jake Paul thing, it moves the stick for free pay per views, and I think that's a win.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my last things that I just wanted to tell her about it because right now we're evolving about for the era of technology. So I'm gonna tell for my biggest plan right now, premium live events for all the UFC and boxing, including for wrestling. No more pay-per-views because we're not gonna spend another money, another dime to spend enough for UFC pay-per-view events because it's not gonna happen. premium live events for all kinds of streaming. No matter it's gonna be a Paramount Plus, Max, Netflix, Apple, all of this one. So yes, that's what I said.
And look how much money the Super Bowl makes, not even on seats,
Yeah.
just on revenue, because it's so watched by everybody. Like, they make a lot of money, and like UFC can do that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's been like another episode of the Combat Club, and I just wanted to tell you, we've been hitting 10 episodes of the Combat Club, and trust me, the next is gonna be so really interesting right now, because right now we're getting involved for a lot of more news, more previews about for the events is gonna happen of MMA, wrestling, boxing, everything. Because right now, Rafael Chacín and my co-host Zion Zenith, we're gonna provide all these incredible stops of MMA, wrestling, boxing, because this is like the Combat Club. They're gonna reunite it in a podcast with every week with breakdowns, news, also with previews. Anytime, anyone, anywhere. Because right now we're gonna leave you like a knockout. So right now I just wanted to say thank you everybody. Go there and subscribe to my great Science Standard right now. So yes, it's gonna be so amazing right now. So you guys have a lot of things with the New York Giants, also for the MMA, wrestling, and of course for the basketball. And I'm very sorry that the Miami Heat got eliminated. So yeah, there's gonna be for the
it's all
Nets.
good.
So,
We
but
can
yes,
build up next year, and we can come back and compete next year. We didn't have the team this year, and I'm okay with that.
yeah, don't worry about it.
Appreciate all of you guys. Daniel, TTC, Mac the Giants fan, Adrian, Tudo, everybody else that if I missed that was in here that didn't leave a comment, we really, really appreciate you guys. Catch me tomorrow for another episode of Premium Takes, but you know where to find us out. Most likely every Thursday on the Combat Club. You know what it is. And thank you, Rafael. Always, go in, play-by-play analyst, lead analyst here on the Combat Club. Always holding it down, man, and hosting. I appreciate it, my man.
All right. Salute to everybody else. And of course, I just wanted to tell you, thanks for joining us at the Combat Club right now. We will see you there on the next week in another episode of the Combat Club. And right now,
Praise Jah in the Moonlight, YG Morty. Look it up. It's a good song.
Yeah, but right now, have a great night, folks. Have a great week. And of course, it's gonna be so incredible right now because this weekend is gonna be so explosive. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. Let's get it. Salute to everybody. Have a good night. Buenas noches todos.
And